Yo, what is going on, guys? It is A-Roz and I am back with another video. So for this video, we're going to be talking about the big breaking news that Anthony Davis is demanding a trade from New Orleans. So unless you live under a rock, you probably have heard that Anthony Davis is demanding a trade out of New Orleans, and his agent Rich Paul is the one to break this news. And now Anthony Davis is looking at a short list of teams that he would be willing to sign an extension with after this season. So as far as we know right now, the short list of teams that Anthony Davis would be willing to sign an extension with after this season, if he were to be traded to them, include the Los Angeles Lakers, the New York Knicks, and the Boston Celtics. But to narrow that list down to just two teams, I'm going to remove the Boston Celtics off that list for one reason, and it's kind of hard to explain, but there is a rule in place with the Celtics right now that Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis cannot be on the same roster due to some player restriction rule. It's heavily detailed, but it was explained well by Brian Windhorst of ESPN. So if you find videos on that, and Nick Wright of First Things First on FS1 also explains it pretty well. So I can't really explain it as well as them, but point is the Celtics cannot make a trade offer for Anthony Davis if it doesn't include Kyrie Irving. The Celtics would have to wait to the off season to make a trade for Anthony Davis, but who knows, it might be too late by then because Anthony Davis may be on another team before this season even ends, so the Celtics may strike out. So as of right now, the Celtics at the trade deadline in these next 10 days are not in the running for Anthony Davis due to the fact of this restriction that prevents Kyrie and Anthony Davis from being on the same roster. Not specifically just those two players, but there's a rule between, it's a money thing, but it can be explained better by others. But that is the point I wanted to make about the Boston Celtics, that they're not in the running. So now to narrow the list down to just one team, I'm going to take the Knicks out of the sweepstakes for Anthony Davis at this year's trade deadline because of the fact that the offer that the Pelicans would need from the Knicks would include just too many young players, but most importantly, this year's first-round draft pick from the Knicks. The Pelicans would not do a trade with the Knicks without coming away with this year's first-round pick, and I personally feel like for the Knicks going forward, this is one of their most valuable assets, if not their most valuable asset besides maybe Kristaps Porzingis. Arguably even more so, especially if they can land a player like Zion Williamson in this year's draft, a potential generational talent, all-time great talent. Who knows how good he's going to be. I don't think the Knicks should part with this pick, so that's why I'm going to say the Knicks, and I think they're smart enough not to part with this pick, although history would say they're not smart enough and they would trade their first-round picks, especially for a guy who could be a rental who's not guaranteed to sign there after this year. It's just not... It's not a good idea for the Knicks, so I really think they should stay out of the Anthony Davis sweepstakes personally, but if they do it, who knows, maybe if they can get confirmation that he will definitely 100% sign with them, then maybe you can argue it's worth it. You could pair him with Porzingis and then maybe sign a third star in free agency, who knows, but it's going to be tough for the Knicks to pull this off without giving up that first-round draft pick. So that leaves us with just one team, and that team is the Los Angeles Lakers, by far the frontrunner in the Anthony Davis sweepstakes at this trade deadline. They can put together a very compelling package of young players that would probably have to include, unfortunately, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, or some combination of two or three, probably three of those guys, and it's likely the Pelicans will ask for Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and Brandon Ingram. I don't know if the Lakers would be willing to part with all three. If I'm a Lakers fan, I wouldn't be so happy about this, but in the end, you are getting Anthony Davis, and then likely you'll be able to sign a third star to form a big three. But if you look at it like this, with Lonzo Ball, Kuzma, and Ingram, post-LeBron era, your team probably still going to be good once all three guys hit their primes, all three of those young players, and you're going to be good maybe for 10 or 12 years. With LeBron and AD, you maybe only have a 4 or 5 year window to win some chips here, and that just might give the Warriors more of a reason to stay together and go right at the Lakers super team that they're building with Anthony Davis, LeBron, and maybe a third star. So I don't know, that may want to keep the Warriors from not breaking up. So I don't know if this is the best move for the Lakers to do right now. The best case scenario for them is to sign Anthony Davis when he becomes a free agent and not trade for him, because then they would have a very, very legit team. LeBron and AD, personally, I don't feel is enough to beat them. Beat the Warriors at least at the moment. But let me know what you guys think. Which team do you think has the best chance of trading for Anthony Davis? Or do you think Anthony Davis will just stay a Pelican for at least the rest of the season? Let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Be sure to check out my Instagram. The link will be in the description down below. Until the next video, peace out.